3-day conference, and we did that starting our freshman year on. It's just so cool that like John, we started out as acquaintances freshman year. We're like, we would see each other on campus, we'd get lunch every once in a while. But it's just so cool that after the years went by, like by junior, senior year, John was just one of my closest friends. And the thing I love about John is John has the most unbelievable heart for people. He loves people well. You sit across from him and it's just hard to not feel like, dude, this guy cares about me so much. He is like the most sentimental guy I've ever met. He has this thing during COVID, he like pretty much did home videos during COVID. We were all in a 3-bedroom house with 9 guys during COVID, which was awesome. It's coming out soon, I'm believing it, but he has a bunch of videos and the doc is coming out. A documentary of our life during COVID, which will be probably not for, we'll just keep that. We'll see how it goes, but it'll be awesome. I love John, you're amazing.
Right next is my friend Vanessa Aziz. She is the best. She was also one of my first friends at Caution City Church. We both did the residency together. And if you know Vanessa, she's one of the easiest people to love, but she's so sweet. She's also my church twin. There have been plenty of times where I've been called Vanessa and she has been called Savannah, and we just take it as a compliment because I'm honored. She's the best. Vanessa was also the last person that I roomed with before I will room with this guy. And I couldn't have asked for a better roomie. Vanessa loves people so well. She's also one of the most high capacity relational people I know. She works in student ministry with Chris, which has caused a really fun dynamic because Chris would go to work and see Vanessa, and then he would come home and also see Vanessa. So they are besties as well as us. And Vanessa, we both love you so much. We're so thankful that you're here.
Next, I want to introduce my friend Carter. Carter is, of all the guys, he's just like, I've known him the longest. He's just kind of old faithful. And there were so many things that Carter and I have done together. We've gone to South Africa together. We were thespians together. We lamented Mark Riggs being fired together. We were like, dude, why are we firing Mark Riggs? This is gonna go terribly. We were wrong about that one. And man, Carter and I just lived so much life together. And in college, our friendship really continued because we would come home and we were gym buddies. And you won't believe this, but I actually used to kick this guy's butt in the gym. And then one summer he just showed up and he added 40 pounds of muscle, and he's just left me in the dust ever since. But Carter is loyal, he's an amazing conversationalist, and Carter, you've just been the most amazing brother to me over the years, and I love you a lot. So thank you.
This past year, and to my ultimate dismay, she has moved to Maryland, and it is so sad. So if you can join me in helping her, just convince her to move back to Atlanta, that would be great. But Emily, I'm not convinced that you sin. You are perfect literally in every way. You are so full of joy and bubbly and fun. One of my favorite memories with you, our whole friendship here, is just our Saturday morning walks. We would every Saturday take me and my little dog Camper, and we would go on this long 2-hour walk and just talk about life and everything that was going around us, and you made me feel very safe and seen. And I'm grateful for your friendship. I love you.
Yes. Come on. This is my friend Carson right here. Carson, I'm not sure you can see as much right now, but we would get mistaken on campus all the time for each other. We're the same height, same build, similar hairstyle. We got confused all the time. Carson was a huge answer to prayer, and you're thinking, okay, Chris, what were you praying for going into college? I was praying that there would be someone in the state of California who loved college football. And this guy loves college football, and he's as loyal of a friend as he is a sports fan, because he's a Washington State Cougar fan. And they don't have a lot of success, and he is just there beating for him. And seriously, he was a huge answer to prayer just because, I don't know, I went to Biola, it's a Christian university, I was like, we just gonna do Bible study on Friday nights. Is that all that Biola is? I obviously love studying the Word of God, but I'm also man, I wanna have some fun, and Carson's just been the most fun friend, and it's just evolved from beyond that to true just brotherhood, and even now Carson and Landon, who I'll talk about in a second, but we're in an accountability group chat every day, so we're literally sending voice messages to each other each day, and I'm a better man because of Carson's prayer, so I'm grateful for you and love you a lot, man.
So backstory. We lived in Birmingham, Alabama for like my early high school years. And then when we moved back to Texas, Chloe was one of my first friends back. And she literally kept me afloat during that time. Her and her whole family, they're all here. Her dad means so much to me, her mom means so much to me, her brothers, Hannah, everybody. But Chloe, you're one of the most faithful friends to me. I remember like driving around in your little little car that you used to have. We would just have the best chats, all the things. The only negative about Chloe Clement is that she's a Roll Tide fan. And everything else is yeah, I'm so sorry. Everything else is top tier. Chloe, you are the most godly person I know. She has taught me so much of what it means to be intimate with the Lord, to know Him emotionally, and to not just know Him in knowing His Word and knowing what His Word says, but also know Him as a person, and as a friend, and as a father. She has modeled that for me, and so Chloe, I'm grateful for you, and I love you.
Next, I do want to talk about, I mentioned him earlier, but my friend Landon, right here. Love Landon a lot. So Landon and I, oh man, it only went uphill from here, but we met at Bed Bath & Beyond 2 days before like orientation, and I made like the noob mistake of college. I was rocking the Biola University t-shirt. And so me and I think just my mom, maybe my dad was there, we were in Bed Bath & Beyond like shopping for college stuff, and Landon like with his parents like kind of like strolls by, and we make eye contact, and because I'm wearing the shirt, he's like, oh, that guy goes to Biola too. And so we make like really weird eye contact, and we were like, and it was like super uncomfortable. And so I like told myself, I was like, dude, that did not go well. Like, good start at college, man. And so I said, okay, next time if I see that guy in the store again, I'm gonna go talk to him. And so we struck up a conversation, and that's the start of our friendship. And pretty quick into Biola, we became really good friends, and it's just really cool to see how our friendship's grown over the years. One thing that's been really cool in recent years with Landon is, I don't know, I feel like I can be like a pretty fast-paced, like hardworking person, and there's not many people who kind of run at the same pace as me sometimes, and Landon is just, it's been so cool. Like, he's been someone who's been running hand in hand with me, has been someone who's again is in my accountability group day after day, and is texting me if I'm not responding. He's reaching out, and he's always like as a friend being like, hey man, let's talk, we haven't talked in a while. And he's just encouraged my faith a lot even in recent years, and so Landon, I'm really grateful for you and love you a lot.
There she is, you're behind the pillar. Next I have my friend Morgan Jett, otherwise known as Momo. Momo recently just had a birthday, so that's exciting. She's a whole year older. But Morgan and I met back in 2020 when I joined the worship collective at Liberty, Fan the Flames. And she very quickly, I remember the first day that we met, we were like in the lodge, and we were all playing like Catan or whatever, and I hate that game. But I remember Morgan, you can see it on her face right now. She has the biggest smile. She glows and brightens every room that she walks into. Morgan is also one of my most godly friends. She just knows the Holy Spirit so intimately and walks with Him. She's one of the best worship leaders that I know, and I've learned so much from her and from being her friend. Mama, thank you for bringing me some of like my biggest laughs. She's one of the funniest people I know, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm better because of you. I love you.
This is my friend Zach Tanner right here. Zach, you're required to wave. There we go, there it is. He's shy, guys, he's shy. Zach we became friends at Passion City, where we worked together. And it was so funny, so he was technically my boss, but pretty quickly became just one of my best friends. And I just love Zach a whole lot. Our students in our student ministry would like make fun of our friendship a lot, because like students would be hanging out and we would just be in the back like just having a good old time, and they'd be like, oh, y'all are so cute, and we're just like, we just had the best friendship, and it was so fun. Zach and I think similarly about literally everything, and I think I discovered one day that our phone passcodes are the same. 7777. So if you need to get in Zach's phone, Zach has been just a big older brother to me since kind of moving back into Atlanta, coming into going, through undergrad and then seminary and then coming into ministry. Not only was he a friend by my side, but also just a mentor and someone I look up to a lot in ministry. And so, Zach, I love you a lot and I'm grateful for your friendship.
Katie Wyman, you have to turn around and look at me. Katie Wyman was also one of my best friends from the Liberty Worship Collective. We met there and then just became like I can't look at you. That's gonna be bad. Recently, Katie is the kind of friend that we had our bachelorette party a couple weeks ago, and her and I
We'll come back to Katie. This is awesome. We love our people a lot. We love our people a lot. You want me to keep going? I'll keep going. Oh, I love Katie too. I want to talk next about my friend Jeremy. This is Jeremy right here. Jeremy is a friend who kind of traveled through some different seasons with me. We were friends in high school and then we went to Biola together. He was the only person I knew going into Biola, and we've stayed good friends ever since. I first met him watching the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which one of my hot takes is Guardians of the Galaxy is trash. It's not a good film. Some of the people over here are like, Savannah, are you making the right choice? Oh my gosh. And so pretty early on, I was like, I kind of associated Jeremy with that movie, and I was like, the movie wasn't good, I don't really know how I feel about Jeremy. But pretty quick, as I got to know Jeremy, our friendship just really flourished, and it was pretty amazing. And going into Biola, we did literally everything together. We lived on the same level, at the same dorm. We had the same job. We were both Biola ambassadors, kind of like tour guide, prospective student type stuff. We were Bible majors who took pretty much the exact same classes. We played the same intramurals. We did literally everything together. And the thing I really love about Jeremy, and it's been true in high school, it's been true in college, it's been true in post-grad, is he has been a consistent friend. And honestly, a lot of times there's been different times with friendships that I feel like I gave more than maybe the other person gave in return. But this could not be said of Jeremy. Jeremy just always pursued our friendship, always could be counted on, always was there if I needed anyone. He is just the most dependable friend I could always count on. He is a deep soul, but also very goofy and doesn't take himself too seriously. And I'm truly a better person because I've been in friendship with you, Jeremy. And so I love you a lot, grateful for you.
I can do it. I'm gonna bubble up. So, Katie, like I was saying, Katie is the kind of friend that we went on my bachelorette trip and we hadn't seen each other in a couple months, just living far apart. And we were on these two little paddle boards, and we would paddle upstream, and the other girls could see us on the dock. And then we would start talking about something else, and we would float all the way back down the river, and they'd be like, where'd they go? And then we would finish that conversation and paddle back up, and then start talking about something else, and then float all the way back down. And you were just the person I could talk to for hours about anything. We have been through a lot. There's a very iconic photo of me weeping on her jeans, and there's a giant puddle on her jeans. And that's who you were to me, the person I could go to with anything. We're always a shoulder I could cry on. Thank you for being one of my best friends in some of the lowest seasons that I ever had. You've been very faithful, and I love you. And stop talking. My double up, Francie is next.
Yeah,
Francie is one of my longest friends. Francie's known me since the 8th grade. Actually, fun fact, I remembered this tonight as I was talking to Emery, who's also here at my house party. But we have Emery to thank for our friendship, truly. So the first time, she says you're welcome. So when my family moved to Birmingham, we moved in when I was in the 8th grade, and wow, I was truly the most awkward 8th grader you could have ever met. I think I said 5 words my first day of school. I think I said, hi, my name is Savannah, and that was about it. And Emery came in, saw this shy little girl who had no idea what she was doing, and she came, introduced herself, and then went, hey Francie, you need to be friends with this person. and that launched a 8-year friendship that has so blessed me. It's been amazing to see the ways that God has connected us and kept us together. So we went to school together, went away for college, and then I got a phone call one day and she said, hey, I'm gonna transfer to Liberty. And I said, hey, you're gonna live with me, because I've been waiting for a third roommate. And it was just so cool to see God bring us back together. Francie loves people better than anyone I've ever known. She sees people, she's so hospitable, and she carries so much joy that's just like an absolute overflow from her time with the Lord. I love you, I'm so grateful for you, and thank you for being here.
Next, I want to shout out my friend Josh Sassi. Josh and I lived together and were roommates for 4 years. And so, funny story about moving in with Josh is like this athletic, seems like sporty guy. But in our room, he sported SpongeBob SquarePants bed sheets. And my dad, when we moved in, my dad was looking, he was like, who is this guy, man? And he made the comment, he was like, I guess I don't have to be worried about any girls coming in here because the SpongeBob bed sheets are really popular. So, yeah, there you go. But, so Josh has just been the best friend for the longest time. Man, what do I say? I think one of the things that the Lord used Josh for is Josh's life mantra is chill vibes. Like a classic chill California surfer. And honestly, the context grew up, private school stuff, I was very go, to-do list, stuff like that. And I think God used Josh in a big way to kind of refine some of the sharper edges of my personality. And I'm just a better person because of Josh. 2 things come to mind. One, his freshman year, he had a pretty big family loss. And it was brutal, and it was only 4 weeks into college. And just for me, witnessing that as a friend, seeing him, seeing his family come together and walk through deep suffering together, but trusting the Lord even in the hardest times, was just pretty amazing and encouraged my faith a lot. Because it's easy to maybe follow the Lord on the brightest of days, but Saucy, I see you follow the Lord on the darkest of days, and encourages me a lot. His wife couldn't be here tonight, will be here tomorrow. I just love their marriage so much. They have people over to their house like 6 nights a week, it feels like. They have people over all the time, so plugged into the church that they're a part of. And really, I just look to you and Karina, and really want, that's what I want our marriage to be like, which is loving other people, planted in the church, glorifying God. And so you and Karina really just exemplify that, and I love you, man. Really grateful for you.
This one's gonna be a hard one as well. This is my best friend in the entire world. This is Camille Pardo, and she is the love of my life. Sorry, besides you. She was first. Camille and I met before I transferred to Liberty. I went to Dallas Baptist University, otherwise known as Duffelbag University, because no one ever stayed on campus ever. So go Pats, except we did, and that's how we became friends. But Camille and I roomed together our freshman / sophomore year of college, and just very quickly became like sisters. She is, before Alex came into our family, Camille was my first experience ever having a sister and what that felt like. Camille is stupid talented at everything that she does. She can do anything she puts her mind to, and she was doing musical ed, and then all of a sudden she was like, no, I'm gonna do healthcare, and now she's killing it. She's 3 weeks on the job. But Camille is the biggest ray of sunshine to anyone who has met her tonight. I'm sure that you have felt that. She's one of my most intentional friends. Can I embarrass you? Do I have time?
Yeah.
The worst part about living with Camille was that she gets scared at anything. And so we had this double bunk and then her over here. And every once in a while it'd be 3 in the morning and she'd be like, psst, I'm scared. Can I come sleep with you? And she would just come cuddle up with me, and then she felt so safe and would go right to bed. So I do miss those days. I'm so rooming with you. Thank you for being one of my most godly friends. You love the Lord in such a pure way. It's been really sweet to see you and Kay come together. I love both of you so much. You guys have been such a model example for me as I've dated Chris, of what I want our dating relationship to look like. I look to you guys. I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to cry because I'm crying. But I love this woman so much more than most, and I'm thankful for you.
I love it. Hey, give it up for Camille, y'all. This one might be tough. I started reading my, I don't know if you can like bullet points down. I got a little teary this one, so we'll see how this one goes. This is Alex in the back. Alex Middleton. She's my oldest sister, and man, I love Alex so much. A big part of my testimony and something that made a big impact on my faith was Alex, her senior year of high school, really kind of going one way in life, put her faith in Jesus. And I remember being at her baptism thinking like, Alex, I knew what you were doing a week ago. Like, this is like, what are we doing here? And senior year of high school, saw her just make a complete 180. And I saw for the first time that growing up in the South, that Christianity isn't just something, it's like a worldview you kind of like adhere to. It's truly something that the power of the gospel can change your life. And so even at an early age, I remember just praying prayers of like, God, whatever you did in Alex, would you do in me? And yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna punt right now. I'm good. I'm gonna push through. And really, Alex paved the way for me in a big way to go to Biola. We got super close there. It's just always been so intentional. And I don't know, Alex, I know like there's been different things in life that have been, there's been just tough things that have come your way. And to have so much go against you, and for you to be, still be so soft-hearted and loving, and oh man. Oh, this is raw right now. But she's had so much come against her, and yet she is the kindest, softest heart. Like stuff like, we went to St. Simon's for Savannah's birthday with some friends, and she shows up, and it was my mom, but also really Alex, who put together like 10 gifts, like this massive gift basket for Savannah, and just like, she just has such a soft, loving heart, and she has a lot of excuses for why that couldn't be the case. But I'm just amazed by you and love you so much, and you've made a huge impact on my life, and man, I'm grateful for you. I love you a lot. I'm gonna wrap that one up.
You like Alex, don't you? And he was like, yeah. And ever since then, they have been the couple that I look up to. Like, I think you guys dated better than any person I've ever met. You always put God first. You always prayed through every decision, through every step, through every moment. And you really showed me what it looks like for a young person to follow God in a romantic relationship. Alex is also just one of the most intentional, intellectual theologians you will ever meet. I come over to their house and she's not in seminary or anything, and she has these giant seminary textbooks that she's just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it's just, she inspires me so much in my faith and in all that I do. And I love you so much. I'm very thankful that I found a sister in you.
Last but not least, for me at least, is my brother Drew. Back there. it's such a journey together. I mean, I'll just say he always says, dude, first like 9-10 years of your life, I like was kind of bummed that you like crashed the party, man. Dude, like me and Alex had a good thing going, but like honestly, it came around like 5th grade. Like I was in 5th grade, he was in 8th grade, and we became like super tight. And I just looked up to Drew in so many ways. We definitely had our fights. We definitely had our competition. Stuff all of this makes me rage right now, but like we would like play basketball in the front yard, and like if I was ever winning, Drew would just start like fouling me really hard, and then I would be like so self-righteous, being like, well, if we're gonna play this way, like then like let's just like not play, and then he would go, I win, and I would be like, ah, and then and then my mom is like probably like just traumatized because I would a lot of fights, but. Drew and I, even like once we got to like 5th, 6th grade for me, like we became so close. I looked up to Drew in so many good ways, and then also ways of like, oh yeah, this guy's hilarious. Like a lot of my classroom trouble was just following in the wake of my brother. And stuff like, man, we just have so many pranks. I had told us that would be brief, so I'm not going to do that too. If you want some good stories, we'll circle around. But it's just been cool. Even going to college was really interesting because like Drew went to Georgia Tech like right down the road, and I felt like for a year or two like it was tougher because it's like, oh, you're right there, but you're also like, we weren't spending as much time together. We lost the commonality of like going to the same school, like making fun of that teacher or whatever, like whatever it would be, and we kind of lost that commonality, and it's just been so cool in recent years just to find like different things that have like brought us together, whether it's like the Atlanta Hawks or something like that. There's just like random small things like that that have brought us together, and I'm just so grateful for my friendship and my relationship with my brother. We are different in a lot of ways, like see world a little different and stuff like that, but like no doubt, like this guy's my brother, and through whatever season, he's just meant the absolute world to me. And through every season, going forward, Drew, I love you so much, and so grateful that you'll be the one standing by my side tomorrow. I love you a lot.
Last but certainly not least is my brother Zach. He was one of Chris's groomsmen, but I get the pleasure of introducing him to you guys. My brother, you were my first friend in this world, like built in, and I got the best one. To be fair, the early years, like you and Drew, we did not like each other, and we bickered like none other. And then we hit that like 12, 13 sweet spot, and we became besties. And Zach was always the person that I looked up to for anything, and anything that Big Brother did, I was gonna do it too, and better. So much so that I took up playing the bassoon, which who even knows what that is? It looks like a bassoon. He didn't know what that was. Everything that he did was cool, even the bassoon. And it's been so sweet being your little sister. You're the best Big Brother a girl could ask for. You loved me so well growing up, and you're my best friend, some of my best laughs. So much so, like, my greatest honor in Zach's life was when he asked me to be his best woman, and I stood on his side on his wedding day to Alex. I got to walk him down the aisle. It's the greatest honor of my life. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. Woo! And I'm so
You could still bring up a brass object and be like, this is a bassoon, and I'm like, great, that's a bassoon. Awesome, that's great. Dad, are you coming up? Do you want to transition to speeches? Yeah, come on. My dad's gonna be up here to transition to speeches. Let's give it up for my dad, but also my mom. Some toast from my dad and transition.
Yeah. Wow, I feel like you guys have, lit the fuse and there's a bomb going to go off here. So thank you so much for that. That was just really amazing. So here's how we're going to go into some toast. What I recommend is that maybe we could have an on-deck circle, like over to my left here, and then you come over, make your toast. You need to come up, because the microphone's up here, and we'll rotate around. As you guys have observed, Chris and Savannah have this thing on a pretty tight schedule. At some point, Chris is going to give me the sign, and when he does, I'm going to come up. So if you see me come back up, and you haven't done a toast yet and you want to, you need to like break a rule or something and just run up here. So do that. I'm just, just amazed at what we just saw and just how intentional they have been for this whole weekend. It's just been really something. I was comparing it to our rehearsal dinner that I mentioned a little while ago. Lynn and I went back and watched the video this past week, as I mentioned, and the master of ceremonies and the host of that event was a guy named Chris Middleton. It was my uncle, Carrie's dad, who hosted that event for us. And so he was so nervous. I had a bunch of frat guys that were at the thing, and Lynn had all her sorority sisters. And my grandmother was there, and just some of our older relatives, and he was just afraid that somebody was going to just go into some level of debauchery that just really. So that obviously is not a problem here tonight with this group. So I'll spare you my Uncle Chris speech of maintaining decorum. I don't think that's necessary with this group. So the floor is open. If somebody wants to make their way up here, I'll hand them the microphone. I'll come back at the end to do mine, so like you say, if you see me go to the on-deck circle, it means we're getting towards the end, and so you need to hustle up if you want to do mine. Thanks.
My dad said there's an on-deck circle, and I hopped right up, because I need to clarify a few things from Chris's speech there. He said I always am saying that I liked life before he showed up. I'm not always saying that. I said that like 3 times or something. Yeah, I'm barely ever saying it. Is the mic close enough or is it too close? Okay. And then also he said that he really looked up to and learned a lot from like my misbehaving and pranks and stuff. And I just want to be clear, he never got close to my caliber. You can ask anybody. I mean, he was good. Not really similar as Carter's stories. So just wanted to kind of follow on that a little bit, so I appreciate it. But yeah, in all seriousness, I just wanted to start by saying kind of thanks to the groom's party for welcoming me in. Chris, it's been really cool seeing them in your life, all these special guys that I've heard stories of, that I've met once or twice, but to get to know them better has been really special. So I appreciate what a fun week it's been with y'all. I want to be brief, but Chris, I love you so much, man. I'm really, really happy about this weekend. I'm so happy about this milestone in your life, and just like what a special year you've had, what a great time this is going to be, what the future holds. I'm really happy about it. And Savannah, of course, you too. It's been so great getting to know you. It's been so cool seeing y'all's relationship form. I do just want to tell a quick fact, my favorite fact to tell people about Chris that I think is important for you to know. I'm always telling people this. Actually, always telling people this, that like, my little brother, you can walk up to him, and this has been true for like the last 10 years probably, maybe longer, and just be like, list the entire UGA roster. All 110 go, and like he's got it. Who's the 4th string tight end? He knows. It's not a joke at all. It's crazy. And it's fun, but it is really cool to see this thing my brother loves so much, how intense he goes on something he loves. And you get to be that second thing now, It's like, and I've seen how intense it is, and you have too, and it's going to be amazing. So it's like, what in your life is the 4th string quarterback of you? Chris is gonna know, he probably already knows. What is the equivalent in your life of Daquan Huckley-Barkley having his career high 6 tackles against Florida in 2018 of Savannah? Chris knows that, and that's like really special and sweet. So, enjoy that. So I appreciate y'all being here. I'm so real quick and talk. I promised I would help them get up for their speech. No, they didn't listen to the bullpen rule, which everyone else needs to respect. But this is going to be the one exception. The Tracy's are going to come up here real quick because I promised that I would introduce them. So I'm sorry.
Dear Savannah and Chris, Savannah, we are sure that when Chris first met you, he had starburst in his eyes. And when Chris first asked you out, he totally scored big time. Chris, we can't tell you how 1-0 you are. You have always been the cool cousin that we look up to. The amount of snickers and giggles we have shared are unforgettable. Now, Savannah, we know that you are probably thinking, how did I get so lucky to find Chris out of all the guys in the Milky Way? But don't let that stop you from having him take you shopping on 5th Avenue when he gets his payday.
We know that you two are made for each other, and we love seeing how happy Chris is since you have come into his life. Savannah, we can't wait to see what the future holds, and God willing, you will be blessed with a baby room and no nerds or airheads.
Tomorrow is going to be an incredible celebration, and we can't wait to see you walk down the aisle, Savannah. We are sure everything will be perfect, just as long as there are no fast breaks and you don't forget the rings. We wish you mountains of happiness, good health, and a ton of laughs in the future. Hugs and kisses, your favorite 3 Musketeers.
I hope that my words speak to the thoughtfulness. So truthfully, I am giving a speech tomorrow, and so I don't quite have a speech prepared today. And I'm nervous, so I'm hoping that this is a good little practice run, and I can get the nerves out, and also hopefully get the tears out, because you made me cry, and that's not allowed tomorrow. I just wanted to, first of all, just like Drew decided to clear something up, I also need to clear something up, because you just, yes, she just kind of, just slid in there this little embarrassing story and very conveniently left out the fact that they made me watch a scary movie. So naturally, I was scared. I did not go into, I did not, I promise, I did not crawl into her bed every night saying, hey, I'm scared. I'm not that scared. So just so you know in advance. But I did want to take a second and just acknowledge the fact that, Savannah, you have been my best friend for the past 4 years. And oh gosh. I don't got it. And we have dreamed about this day for so long. And we've dreamed about the guy that he was going to be. And I have sat through some crying sessions over stupid boys who did not deserve to be in Savannah's life. Alex and I were ready. We were ready to fight. I'm just saying. But there was definitely a time where I didn't feel this way. I knew that God had someone for you, but I could see in your eyes that there was some doubt and there was some fear. And the day is here. The day is tomorrow. It's not here yet. It's here and it's now, and He's faithful to provide. And I'm so excited to see what tomorrow will hold in. Oh gosh! Tomorrow's not going to go well, you guys.
that you are in my best friend's life and that you've treated her so well and so kindly. I'm so excited to see what, I'm so sorry, almost done. I'm so excited to see what the beginning of y'all's life together will look like, and I can't wait to have a front row seat to the rest of it. So, cheers to the future militants.
Hello everyone. As Chris introduced me earlier, my name is Jeremy. I've been one of Chris's friends for about 8 years. And he actually stole the intro to this toast I was going to give. We did meet at the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and we were introduced by a mutual friend, and I absolutely love that movie. I think it's one of the best Marvel movies ever. I am the majority, I know that. But I don't think that Chris was very far off for associating his critiques with that movie with me. He thinks that the Guardians movie was actually had a lot of unnecessary plot details that it would add to the story, and I think I overshare. There's humor in the wrong places, and I also have a confusing origin story like a lot of the characters in that movie. But shortly after we saw that movie, I started actually attending a church that you may know, Savannah, called Passion City Church. I don't know if you've heard of it. And Chris, when we officially kind of started hanging out more and seeing each other more there, he welcomed me in with open arms, and we quickly became friends and started doing not quite as much as we did together in college, but we were very actively hanging out in high school as well. But I honestly could have never guessed that a friend that I knew my junior year of high school, because I actually moved to Texas, not far from where Savannah's family is from actually. But I wouldn't have thought that I would have gotten to spend my 4 to 5 or 6 college years with Chris. And I really mean it when it was some of the best memories of my life, spending it with you and getting to do everything with you. From all the late night food runs to the crazy games that were made up, like Wii baseball, late nights at your house, or to all the early morning Bible classes, and all the early mornings I would join him watching Georgia football. All those things I have as fond memories when it comes to my time spending with you, Chris. You quickly went from a friend who I knew in high school to a brother, and I'm forever grateful for that. Now, Savannah, I know I've had the privilege of knowing Chris for a little bit longer than you, and I'm sure you have gotten to see a lot of things about Chris that I'm about to share, but I wanted to share with everyone publicly some of the things that mean the most to me about Chris and my friendship with Chris. Chris is fiercely loyal. When he commits to something, he will be faithful to stay the course despite whatever comes his way. I know that'll be true in the marriage as well. Chris is a visionary and he's a dreamer, but at the same time, he's extremely practical. He envisions the world as it should be and is committed to taking the steps it'll take to get there. And that includes lists and knowing all the details as you mentioned earlier. He's also a loving listener. He can hold with sincerity the joys of someone's life as well as the struggles. And lastly, Chris is passionate. For all the time I've known Chris, he's had a tiered list of the things he's passionate about. It went Jesus, and then right next to it was the Georgia Bulldogs. It's been alluded to already, but after I gave him a call this last fall, around this time last year, the football season was starting. I was expecting his rundown for what the Dogs were going to do. And instead, he talked about how he had just met this girl. And he had talked to me about Savannah. And over the ensuing months, the conversations were filled not with talks of football, but it was talks about this girl that he was falling in love with. And Savannah, I'm confident that despite what Drew said, you are edging your way to the second seat in his life, and so we'll just manifest that. But I didn't know a whole lot about the Georgia Bulldogs season last year, but I got to hear a lot about you, and I was so happy for the two of you and the relationship that you're able to build. So to end, I just want to quote from a theologian that we learned from Jerome Balsic, and he said this: "The seed of love planted in the souls of God's beloved must be watered plentifully and dutifully, in order to produce the fruit that God has divinely ordained. It's a good word. Chris, you're a man after God's own heart. And as you both know, y'all's love for God must be tended first in order to be able to best love each other. And I know and I'm confident that you guys will be able to do that. Chris, I love you, brother, and I am going to love you more and more as we get to know each other, Savannah. And so I'm prayerfully excited about your future. So would everyone give a toast to Chris and Savannah?
We're government cousins. Yes. We told everybody we were all cousins growing up. It's easier because we have the same last name. Not tomorrow though. Let's not talk about that. Not a Smith anymore. Okay, so our parents went to the same church together and they had kids. And we all became besties, cousins. From there we went to family camp together. We went to Disney World together, many camping trips, skiing trips. It never ends. And I was just looking back at pictures and seeing how little we were together, and I swear that the time has just flew by, and it actually has. You're one of my best friends growing up, and I love you a lot. And I was always looking forward to this day, because I knew one day we would be grown up and we wouldn't be in princess dresses anymore. You would be in a wedding dress. You will be in a princess dress tomorrow. And I just wanted to say I love you so much, and I'm so happy for y'all. I wish y'all the best marriage of all time. And y'all can also say something more nice.
I can't say anything better than what you just said, but I wish y'all the best marriage. Y'all are beautiful together, so have a wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow. I'm just gonna say ditto to Evie, and also shout out to Savannah for being the best wedding singer at me and my husband's wedding of all time. I was planning my wedding, literally couldn't get out of my head. Maybe it's the producer, film person in me. Like, Savannah is a performer at heart, and I need her at my wedding. The amount of times as kids we would just kind of make her sing for us. Like, okay, sing, yeah, sing. So thank you for that. It meant so much to me. And I'm not gonna do the same for you tomorrow. I don't think you would want that. But I'll be in the back, like, lip singing to songs. But love both of you. Chris, you seem awesome. And it's gonna be amazing seeing your marriage grow. And yeah, love y'all so much. Jackie, take it home.
I just want to say I love you, Savannah. And I truly did believe that you were my cousin when I was younger. Because I didn't understand. I think I was about 8 when I realized that we were not related. I told all my friends that we were cousins and you were family, and yeah, keep it that way. So many of my memories include you. I mean, since I was born, we were all just together and just doing so many fun things. And I was looking at old pictures the other day, and it's just like so amazing how long that we've known each other. And also there was a video of you singing, and I also thought that, wow, you are the most talented person ever. And I hope you have the best wedding day, and I love you so much. And so many of my memories have you in it. I know I already said that, but it's just really cool. I love you.
Alrighty, hello everyone, I'm Landon. Chris just introduced me. I have 3 marquee stories about Chris. The first he told on his way up here, the second Sauce is going to tell tomorrow, and the third involves doing laundry in a public restroom, so I'm going to pass on that one. You can ask me about it later. Couple of but I think a couple things that come to my mind about Chris is a man who embodies running after the Lord and loving Him with your full heart, soul, mind, and strength. You are one of the first guys I reach out to and need advice for something. Just very, very wise, and I appreciate that about you so much. Chris also loves to laugh. He and I bond over in our very wacky friend group. These people are funny people. Chris and I are not funny people. We are people who are funny, and there's a distinction. We don't make a joke. These are just characters. So the quiplash battles between Chris and I are always iconic. But when I first met Savannah, we played a good 2-3 hours of quiplash, and I just got to see how much y'all laughed together. And in hearing Chris say all the things about you, I know that you are very much equally yoked. And you guys are on a great trajectory, and I'm just so excited to see what the Lord does in y'all's life. I want to close with 3 quick verses from John 15. I'm the vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself, unless it abides in the vine, neither can you, unless you abide in me. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in His love. And Chris and Savannah, 2 people who I know do a lot of good work for the Lord. I just want to encourage you to take time to abide in the Lord, to rest as a beloved daughter, as a beloved son, as one of the flesh that we get to celebrate tomorrow. And I'm so excited for that. So, cheers to the happy couple.
I think I'm the old timer here. my name's Jim Thomas. My wife was Maureen Middleton. Her brother, Charles, was father to Mark. So I guess that puts me kind of in the grandparents mode for you, Chris. If Maureen were here, she would give you a stern piece of advice. I'm going to do it on her. It's a little off color, but I'm going to do it anyway. She would say, anytime you're angry with one another, make sure that you hold hands and fight naked. You can tell that Maureen had a lot of spice to her. A few years ago, Maureen and I took Chris and Jay to Boston. And each night in the hotel there, Chris and Jay wanted to play a game of cards. Now, everybody here is aware that in some ways, a game of cards is very much like the game of life. We're dealt a hand, and it's what you do with the hand. So, every night, Chris and Jay would play a fierce game of Liverpool rummy with Maureen and me. And every night, they would beat the living you-know-what out of us every single time. Now, to be honest, they played fair. They played fairly. So, Chris has a background playing fierce and fair, and it's what I hope you will do for all that you believe in. So, Chris, can we have a toast to Chris and Savannah? Play fair, fight naked, fight fiercely for what you believe in, and have a long, happy
fighting names. I was his boss at Passion City Church. And it was funny because Chris was my first direct report that I ever had. And so I'm going into it and I'm like, don't be friends. Like, you know, you gotta be a leader. Like, don't fall into like the buddy thing. And now I'm in your wedding, so cool. But I remember one of Chris and I's first conversations, it was on the steps of East Pole Coffee, which I don't even like East Pole Coffee, but that's but I remember, like, even very quickly, we sat down and we started talking, and then all of a sudden I remember Colin Cowherd got brought up. And he was like, dude, I love Colin. I'm like, bro, I love Colin. Let's do this. And so Chris never made fun of me for being a Notre Dame fan, which also was very, very special for me. But it's just been, go Irish, baby, let's go. But Chris, it's just been so crazy. I mean, like I said, I was your boss, but it took probably about 2 weeks before I realized we're just doing this together. When it comes to you and ministry, all the ways that the Lord has gifted you, it was just like, this feels like cheating. Like, you're not my resident. Like, we're doing this together. And so that was just something that I'll always look back on and just be like, that was such a special time. But when I just think about you, I mean, probably the easiest way to describe all of it was just yesterday. We got to have a really cool time of just the groomsmen, just being able to encourage you and pray for you. And when I tell you, we were going around the room with a bunch of grown men in tears talking about how much this man meant to them. And I just wanted, like, in the midst of it, I just had to stop and I was like, you guys realize this isn't normal. Like, it's not normal to have like a group of people in their 20s and 30s, like to be able to talk about someone the way that they talked about you. And each one of them had like specific memories of like, man, you were the shifting point in my life. And so, man, I just want to say, like, you are an incredible man of God. And yeah, like when Crystal and I transitioned into a new church, it's like, man, that's a relationship we're going to fight for. Because we love you so much. And man, Savannah, the way that you kind of entered into the story has been so amazing. I remember he started talking about you, and I remember there was one point I was like, so do you love her? And Chris got so awkward. He's like, I don't know, man, I don't know. Like, you're being stupid. You're in love, dude, I'm not in love with her. And then what? And he came to me and he was like, dude, I think I love her. And so, man, it's just so cool being able to see you guys even come together. And man, I just think about the kingdom is going to be bigger because of this marriage. Yeah. And the gospel is going to go forth because of you too. Yeah. And so I just want to say, like, that's a special thing. You mean the world to Crystal and I, just our family. We love you guys so much. And I can't wait for our little light-skinned son Zay to say hey to Uncle Chris and Aunt Savannah. We love you guys a whole lot. Let's raise a glass to Chris and Savannah.
Hi all, I'm Katie, this is Morgan, this is Francie. Most of you know us as the Liberty Girls. When we came for the engagement party, that was the only thing that people said, are you guys the Liberty Girls? Yes, we're the Liberty Girls. So much like Morgan, Savannah was one of my first friends on the Liberty Worship Collective. When I came, I was very scared and everyone was very intimidating, and Savannah and Morgan and I sat at a table together and we just talked for hours and hours and hours, and we would have people come up to us and say, did you guys meet before this? Because you guys just seem like you're the best of friends. And we'd been friends for maybe a week at that point, and it was just so evident that the Lord had brought us three together, and then later brought Francie into the picture, and that just kind of completed the whole thing. But Savannah talked a lot about a pair of tear-stained jeans that she has gifted me. But I could say the same for Savannah. She has been one of my best friends in a very dark season of my life. And she's always held space for really big feelings and forced me to talk about things even when I would say I'm fine, I'm okay. And she is a friend who prays for you. She is a friend who contends for you. And I am very grateful that she has found a man who is as wonderful as Chris is.
It's so hard to follow. Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh. Like Kitty was saying, I remember when you joined the team. It was my second year on the team, my sophomore year, and so I was still a noob. But Like seeing you come in, I know you were really nervous, you were really shy. You both were nervous about what was to come. I just remember I was like, oh my gosh, what's your name? Hi. And I remember like being with you most of the time because I was like, I like her. I was like, she feels so comfortable, so I want to be there for her. And just that started a beautiful friendship. We were able to live together. We were able to go through all the phases of life on the collective, all the stuff, you know. But like just knowing you the past 3-4 years, like it's been such a blessing. You are bold, you are strong, you are so intelligent, you are a lover of God's word, you know him deeply, and you know his word deeply, and it reflects in everything you do, everything you say, every interaction you have with anybody you meet. It's so evident, and it's such a, like it's way more of a blessing than you'll ever know, especially in my life. And I would come to you with things like, I don't know what to do about this, or like, what's your opinion about this? It means a lot. And I love you so much. Your friendship is such a blessing to me, and no amount of time or space will change that, how much I love you and how much of an impact your friendship has made on my life. And I know that we don't get to see each other very often, and we don't talk a lot, but know how much I love you. You are one of my best friends. And Chris, I'm so grateful that she has met you, that you take care of her, that you care for her heart and how she feels. And that is something, Savannah's a deep feeler, and she's a deep thinker. And that's beautiful, and I'm so grateful that God placed you in her life to care for her like that. You both are so special. I love you so much.
How do I follow you two? Oh my gosh. Well, Savannah, I have had the pleasure of knowing you for 8 years. Me and Emery can both say that when we first met you, you were just so sweet and just so shy. And I remember thinking to myself, like, it was just an immediate, like, oh, I want to crack this girl open. She just seems so sweet, and I want to be her friend. And then I figured out you can sing like an absolute angel. And I remember sitting and watching you and Zach sing a beautiful song when you were in 8th grade and Zach was in high school. And I remember thinking to myself, I am seeing like two amazing just angels on earth just create the most beautiful sound. And it was just a remarkable experience. And not only that, but you are someone that not only uses your voice as just an outlet for the Lord, but you show it in your actions. You are constantly looking out for the people around you. I remember when I was at UAB still, I was at school before Liberty and before meeting these two lovely women. I remember Savannah stayed with me, and she just looked into my eyes and she said, I think you should look into Liberty. And I was like, no, I will never leave. I was the most stubborn human. And Savannah looked at me and she said, I just want you to keep it in the back of your head. And I just remember thinking to myself, someone that can look past my worries and my doubt is a true friend. And you have been there for me in times when there has been a lot of doubt, a lot of sadness, and have just looked at me and said it's going to be okay. You have been there in the worrisome moments, in the moments that I just have been struggling through nursing school, just all the things. And just like Morgan and Katie have both said, no matter the time and distance, we love you so much. And it is a pleasure and a privilege knowing you. And just the impact that you have had on our life, and look around the room at all the impact you have had on the people in this room. It speaks volumes, and it speaks volumes that all these people are here and have traveled all this way because you mean something. And Chris, I am so thankful for you for coming into Savannah's life. Just, you embody what a strong man should be. You calm her worries, you make her calm in moments that she needs to be calm. And you are constantly looking out for the little guy. You are always making people feel included, seen, and valued. And I remember our first impression of Chris. I'm going to embarrass you now, and I'm going to have so much fun doing it. So we were at an ice cream shop in Atlanta. It was our first time meeting Chris. And I remember we were just sitting and we were like, so we need to know some deep, dark secret about you, because in order for you to marry our best friend, you need to show your worth. And so he goes, I can sing the Barbie song in Japanese. Yes. So he proceeds to, in the middle of Jenny's ice cream, recite by memory the Japanese version of Barbie Girl. And so now I'm going to hand the microphone over to Chris Middleton.
If you know it in Japanese, sing it with me. Chimifang baraishi o berne sayashi yaki spashi chimifang baraishi o berne sayashi yaki spashi.
And that's it. That's all I need to end it with. Congratulations, Miss Christmas. Savannah Gordon.
Don't know how to follow Japanese Barbie theme song. Did not have that in the notes. No, yeah, didn't have that one on the scouting reports. No, but I'm Old Faithful. I don't know what that means. I trust you do. In terms of our relationship. No, Chris and I have done a lot together. Like I said, we've been friends through middle school and through high school. We have done a lot of sports-related stuff together. We have, boy, when we talk about Georgia Bulldogs, Chris and I have prayed for times like this. There were some dark moments there in middle school and high school where we did not think this was something that could happen. So we're in good times. Good times right now. Don't say 3P behind me right now. Jinx that. But no, I think Chris, all the memories I have of us in high school. I saw we were talking yesterday. It's like I wish I put a lot of wind in your sails this week, and I just wish there was something where I'm like, oh man, Chris versus a dweeb in high school. But there really aren't a lot of those stories, unfortunately. Chris had a tremendous part in high school. You were so intentional. I remember, I don't remember what year it was in high school. But you came up to me and was like, "Hey man, I want to start praying for people. I really want to be intentional about seeking guys out, praying for people." And how awesome of a high school to be thinking about that and to be thinking about their guys. And I remember how looked up you were for that in our class and the school as a whole. Just such an incredible heart, intentionality, man. That was awesome for me to look up to as well. I had a really bad accident my senior year of high school. Words to the wise: don't mess with garage door springs. Those things will mess you up, guys. I tell you, I walked across the graduation stage looking like a grizzly bear had gotten to me. But through all of that, Chris was right by my side through a ton of that. Chris walked through some rough times with me there. He got a really good basketball game out of it, though. We got to go see Golden State get trounced by the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. That was an awesome time. But Savannah, one of the first memories that I got to have with you, we went to go play pickleball together, old pickleball. And Chris and I play a good bit. The fellas at the table probably think I've never picked up a pickleball paddle in my life. After today, it was rough out there. But Chris and I do play a decent amount. And we had talked a little bit beforehand. And he had brought up, like, hey, let's get together. My girlfriend Lee was in town. And he said, let's take it easy on it though. Like, we know we're gonna go out there. We can smoke it if we want to. Let's take it easy. Let's have a good time. It's gonna be great. And Chris and I proceeded to get our butts whooped by our two girlfriends at the time. It was not good for the confidence and ego. But I do remember getting back in the car after that and immediately shooting him a text more like, Chris, she's awesome. You need to move quick because I think you would outkick your coverage a little bit. And you need to make sure that you get the show on the road. And he did. And he did exactly that. So I'm so excited for the two of you. Savannah, you were getting a guy with an awesome heart and a leader and someone who I look up to a ton. So this is a happy couple. You're here. So
Chris, Savannah, so happy for you guys with what's coming up. Chris, I have 3 P's for you. The first P is purity. When I think about you, I think of Matthew 5, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And I see that with you guys. The other P is passion. Chris is so passionate about little fun games. He has what Jesus in the Bible talks about having childlike faith. So as you grow up in maturity, you can still be like a kid and ask God for things. And one of the ways Chris is playful is his huge laugh is so contagious. Another thing with Chris is he absolutely loved a game that we played at his home. They called it the Whitewood, where there's a big fan on the wall, and we'd all be gathered around in these different positions. We'd chuck it, it's like this foam ball, chuck it on the fan, and then we'd all try to catch it. People were like dodging for this little foam ball, for 3 hours. The goal was to catch as many catch the ball like consecutively. So we try to let's shoot for 7, let's shoot for 11, let's shoot for 15. So just the childlike faith that you have is so contagious. Also, this has been really huge for my walk with the Lord. Your passion, so purity, playful passion for the Lord. His fervor for the Word of God is so contagious. Just seeing my freshman year of college, Chris so passionate about studying the Bible, seeking God with the Word of God. As it is living, it's active. That is powerful. And so beautiful that you have that. And you're marrying a wonderful future husband. Tomorrow is going to be a day of peace over you guys. One of the last P's is a P Chris would make fun of me for. I'm going to leave it at that. You would make fun of me for something.
I'll text you later.
I'll text you later. But one last thing. Zach Tinner had a word when we were gathering yesterday. Chris is a righteous man. Really believe he has fully received Jesus' blood. And he was like, Chris, you're a righteous man. I was hearing him say that. This is powerful. Really beautiful stuff. So can't wait for you guys. What's ahead for your marriage? It's going to be a powerful one. Receiving God daily. Love you guys.
Hey! So for those of you that do not know, I'm Annalise. I have the pleasure of working with Savannah at Passion, and it has been so special just getting to know her and get to be her friend. One of my favorite things about our friendship is that when we see each other in the office, we say, hey girl! And then everybody knows, okay, Savannah and Annalise are here. So that's one of my favorite things about Savannah. It's just, you're one of my first friends that I just have been able to really be myself with and just be silly and goofy, and you just love all of that. And I just love you so much. I think it was so sweet that you said that I was
your first friend in Atlanta, because I kind of feel the same about you. Even though I had moved to Atlanta in 2020, I really struggled with like finding good, godly community. And it was funny because when I first saw Savannah, I was like, yeah, I don't really know if we'll be great friends. I was like, I don't really know. But just the moment we started talking, I just knew that we were going to be so close, and it's just been so special just becoming friends with you and growing with you. And I think I've told you this before, but I think the Lord has really shown me what true godly friendship is because of you, and how constant and faithful you are, and how you're just the first friend that has shown me what it really means to just be a friend that is willing to do anything for another person. And I say that because last November, I ran a half marathon in Disney World, and Savannah woke up at 3:30 to drive me to the starting line. I know, but get this, that's not where it ends. We were halfway there, and I said, oh crap, and she said, what? And I was like, I forgot my bib. So she turns around, and we go back to the Airbnb that's off Disney property, and then we go back, and she drops me off, and she just is like, I know you're gonna do awesome, I know you're gonna do great. And she was at the finish line waiting for me, and she's the best. I love her so much. And Chris, I've known you for a while too, and you're equally as awesome, and you're equally the best. And I'm just so happy to see just the two of you together, and just the two of you chase Jesus together. And another sweet thing about this friendship is that we're going through similar seasons, and it's just been really great to have a friend in you and be like, hey, I'm feeling this way, is that normal? And you're like, yes. And so I know I'm really thankful for you. Zach and I are so thankful to have friends in both of you. So cheers to you both.
On behalf of my family, I just want to welcome the Smith family and Savannah into our family, and hope that you come to St. Simon's Island for our annual get-together during the summer, and I hope that you come, and I look forward to it. And Drew and Chris fought like cats and dogs. I can attest to that. But all of a sudden there was a change, and Chris just like, we were like, wow, Chris, like, where have you been? Like, he just grew up into a medical man, and we were so proud of you.
So this is my wife, Nancy. I'm Steve. We're essentially uncles and aunts. And we got in a fight earlier today, so taking Jim's advice. You are still eating. Alright, as you're aware, we have sort of a tradition at events like this. So we wrote a roll call for you guys. Alright, let me start.
Yeah.
Chris and Savannah are here at Alarm to share this event with us all like their moms. That was really hard. So, we're also excited to see what God did to bring this fair lady and this surrounding little kid. When I first met the lad that will soon take his vows, he was just a young boy who I thought was quite loud. Ellie and he were about the same age, and they tore through Jim's house like two bears full of rage. A scream echoed loudly and gave us a fright, and it seemed the sweet boy gave his cousin a bite. His teeth marks bared witness, and Jimmy then called feed that boy quickly or he'll soon end us all. Jimmy actually said something else, but let that go.
But as that lad grew, we could see in his eyes that God had a plan far away from those cries. He grew strong and tall and played all kinds of sports, but wept if the Bulldogs got kicked in the forks. He went off to college with God in his sights and aimed to save souls for the rest of his life. He didn't date much. Guess those girls didn't rate for what God had in store. Would be well beyond great.
You just met Savannah, and wow, what a treat. That girl is so kind, so loving and sweet. We saw in those eyes there truly was love. These two love each other in all that we do. Let's raise up our glasses, give a big cheer. Let no man break up what the Lord has done. We are so excited to have us together. I'm looking forward to it.
And I want to rematch in pickleball.
Getting to know their friends, and the girls in this room tonight, I love them like they're my own, and they know it. So it's been such a sweet time to hear stories. I obviously known Savannah longer than anyone, and Greg's going to share some things tomorrow. Have you ever noticed though, like with my son's wedding, we got to dance. You know, we had a special moment. If you're the mother of the bride, you probably get to do nothing but. So I said to her, did you want, wait, where are you up here? You get to have all day tomorrow. I'm just supporting you. Oh, you're so sweet. So, wedding day, Dad gets to dance with the bride. Wedding day gets to walk her down the aisle. We talked about me joining, but it's fine, I'm not going to do that. And so I do have a couple things to share. One thing is, I think it was Morgan or one of you girls said, Savannah, you were so bold. And I think one of the things that is true about her, I don't think she knows how bold she is. So I want to share this quick story. And we were, I mean, you may not have had the impact, but this is a moment where, you know, you're different than your kid. For when they're little, you know, they're just, you think they're a little reflection of you. But when they grow up, you realize, I don't think the same thoughts as this person in my house. And so there was this moment where we were all in Paris, just me, Greg, and Savannah, the only trip that we took without Zach. And we had a very limited time in Paris. And we said, okay, Savannah, you just pick some places. Gave her the little guidebook, and she picked where she wanted to go. And she picked this very, I mean, I was shocked because she said, I want to go to the catacombs in Paris. And I was like, oh, like, how old are you? She was like 17. I'm like, are you sure that's where you want to go? In Paris. And she said, oh, yeah, absolutely. So if you don't know, don't quote me on this number, but there's like 6 million Parisians that they took out of the grave and they buried them in these like underground tunnels and they made them decorative. And so Savannah said, this is what we're doing. So we go. And I was so worried about her. I don't know why. You know, my little girl still. And so we're walking through all these cavernous skulls. And I mean, and there were, you know, things in French telling you to be respectful. But she was ahead of me. And I was like, I wonder if she's okay. I wonder if she's like scared or worried. And I just started to feel like she was, and I was sure she was. And so I go up to her and I kind of touch her, we're just to talk. And so I'm real quiet and I said, Savannah, are you okay? And she kind of looked at me, she goes, Mom, when Jesus comes back, I'm gonna be standing right here. And I was like, she's fine. She's good. And you know, her moving to Atlanta and just being in her own job, in her own world, sometimes I feel that, and as a parent, we feel fearful, like as if they were. And when she was little, I asked the Lord to give me a verse for both kids, and hers I painted on the wall of her bedroom, and it said, if the Lord cares so wonderfully for the flowers, won't He more surely care for you? And that little life verse that He gave me for her, as I watched her move here and meet Chris, this is God's grace, like this is Him caring for her. And Chris, you are that. I mean, you are meant for my daughter, and I couldn't be more confident of that, and I love you so much. She knows. I was like, I picked this one. don't change this. I love you. You know, it's so fun. Savannah is an outpouring. Her middle name is Grace, and she's an outpouring of God's grace in our family. She means more than she'll ever know. Her sister, we lost her sister when she was 8 weeks old, and having Savannah in our family, in our world, changed everything. And so, not only are you my daughter, but like you're my friend, and I love it so much. I would have picked you. You're the best. You have to talk tomorrow. Sorry. Married to Keith, who is Mark's brother. And there's been a little bit of reference tonight to Keith and Mark's parents, who I never knew. But Charlie and Peggy Middleton raised two of the most incredible men that I've ever known. And I think Lynn would agree with that. And Chris has had that model for him. Drew has, and my two boys have. And Alex, the bar's set pretty high because she's seen that as well. But to Keith and my younger son Eli could not be here tonight. Liam, shout out to Liam, he's back there recording and working his God-given gifts back there. But I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say tribute to those that can't be here tonight. But I'm going to tell a little anecdote about somebody who's not here tonight on a lighter level. Eli, our younger son, who is 14, y'all may have seen him featured on Reels. I don't know, I don't follow Reels, but I know he's made some appearances. Both of my boys, I'm an only child, so I don't have other nieces and nephews. These three are it, and they're my little world. I love them dearly. And my boys have always looked up to all three of their cousins deeply. They love them, and I would say equally. I would say that Eli and Chris have a little bit of an unusual relationship because of circumstances. I think they all love each other equally, but Eli and Chris share a lot of the same interest, and so they would go to the beach years ago, and then of course they love college football, love Georgia football, but there's a little rivalry there we won't go into as well. And then in recent years, golf kind of entered the picture for both of them. And so in March, well, I go back. We met Savannah the weekend of her birthday on St. Simon's, and they took time out of their busy weekend to come and see us at the house, and we were all smitten immediately. Everybody's smitten. They walk out, and you can see Eli's pretty reserved. observed, he's getting quieter by the minute. And we're like, what do you think, Eli? And he's seeing his whole world's about to change. I mean, how can you not love this girl? But something's about to change. So in March, we get summoned to Atlanta for an event, and so we all, we get in the car. And it was one of those, it was kind of a rough day because that 5-hour drive is kind of, for y'all that came from the West Coast, I know this sounds silly to talk about that, but it's kind of an arduous drive sometimes. And occasionally it turns into 7 hours, which it did that day. So by the time we got to Atlanta, we were all kind of tired, except for Lee, who loves a big city. So we're coming into Atlanta and Lee, oh, look at the graffiti. Oh, look at this. Eli's getting quieter. We get to the event. Impeccable planning. I know Alex had a little to do with that. Chris, flawless execution. Unbelievable. Amazing. Everyone there is blown away. And so Eli and I are kind of rule followers, so we're staying back. We didn't, go to the window and check it all out. Amazing. Oohs and ahs. Everything's great. Liberty Girls. Everybody's having a blast. It's so fun. Afterwards, we're standing there. We're hugging everybody, and everybody's going on to how great this is. I turned to Eli and I said, "What do you think, buddy?" Serious as he can be, he says, "Okay, if Chris would put half that much energy into his golf game, he could break 90." That based upon some accounts I've heard, and the sources can remain anonymous, but based upon some accounts regarding your demeanor on the golf course, I'm going to confidently say that over the years, you, my beautiful girl, are going to bring him tremendously more joy than his golf game.
Chris and Savannah at Passion City, and Savannah and I did residency together, and I'm, I guess, her twin, which is an honor because she's stunning. But I have gotten to work closely with Chris and Savannah the past year and a half-ish, and it has been a blessing and a joy. I remember when I first met Savannah, we went and got dinner at Flower Child, and it was so fun. And I was so desperate for community, and I was so excited when we met and we were talking, we were sharing about our lives, and I remember her specifically telling me, "You cannot let me date 6 months into the residency." And I was like, "Okay, I got you." And 3 months in, she's like, "So..." And then I'll never forget we would all work together in team space at the church, and Chris one day came up to me and was like, "Hey, can we go for a walk?" And I was like, "Sure." So we're going for a walk around the church, and he's like, "I just need to know, if I were to ask Savannah out on a date, would she say yes?" And I was like, "1 second." And like a day later, I came back and I was like, "She would say yes." And I just love getting to watch their relationship grow and blossom. And if there was anybody that was gonna break that 6-month streak that she had, it would be Chris. And I wouldn't want anybody else to do that but Chris. They have been such an example to me of what a godly relationship looks like, and they've been such an encouragement to me. I've never walked so closely with friends dating and now going into marriage, and so it's been such a special honor to get to see it and grow with you, and I love you. I love the 2 months we had to spend together living together. Thanks, Chris, for letting me live there. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait till you guys get back. Cheers to the mountain.
Savannah and Chris, I'm Jim Thomas. I'm cousin, what a joy it is to be with you all tonight. So, and it's great to meet the Smiths and all of your other relatives, Savannah, who are here, and all of your friends. I just want to say, it's really been incredible watching you grow up, Chris. You're just a wonderful guy. And all the summers, St. Simon's, and watching you with the kids, and your joy and your love of life. And I hope you just perpetuate that and continue with it as a husband and as a father in the future. I can't wait to watch. So here's the both of you. I love you. Woo!
All right, last call for anybody else? All right, I'll close it down. I was going to go over and get my notes, but after all these other toasts, I don't think anything I wrote down is that actually adequate at this point. It's a little unusual as a parent to be at something like this because in my mind's eye, I'm thinking about the kid that was 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, and everyone's speaking to the grown-up. And Savannah and Chris are just remarkably polished and just God obviously has a hand on them as they're on a path doing what they're going to do with their lives. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes to tell you a couple of stories from Chris' youth, just so you don't think he was born this way. There's a pivot point that he gets on a path, and you can see where he ended up from there. But I had a couple of things that I was thinking about. So we'll go back to the very beginning, his birth. And so, he was born at Northside Hospital in Atlanta. And when he was born, he was in the nursery, and I was gazing lovingly into at the window, and there happened to be a tour of would-be moms coming by, first-time moms, who were probably 3 or 4 months pregnant, trying to check out the hospital. And they stopped alongside me. And any of you guys ever seen Impractical Jokers? So if they came up with a scene where they put a full-grown toddler into a nursery with tiny babies and turned on the camera to catch people's reaction, this would be it. I mean, so Chris was way over 10 pounds. And so, he's sprawled out, on his bed, and there are all these little girls around him that probably weighed 4 or 5 pounds. And so these two ladies walk up next to me, and one looks at the other and says, "OMG, that just can't be. It can't be." And the other one goes, "Yeah, his head looks like a jack-o'-lantern." And then the other one said, "I wonder how much he weighs." And I knew exactly whatever it was, 10-6 or whatever it was at the time. And I said, 10 pounds, 6 ounces. And I realized I was the father, and they were embarrassed. So Chris managed to check out of Northside Hospital, and very helpful. As Drew alluded to, he did well just to survive. I mean, Greg can kind of relate to this. Older sister, older brother. It's just tough. I mean, it's a tough existence for the kid. I was coaching Drew's 6th grade football team at the Little League in the area where we lived, and Chris was in 4th grade, and he just kept, or 3rd grade, he just kept badgering us for the next year to be able to join the football league. And, we had never really seen him around any kids his own age, and we just seen Drew just dominate him and beat up on him for all these years. And I was really honestly concerned that this was not a good idea, that he was going to play football. So, Chris exceeded expectations. We get out there, and he's like the fastest and fiercest kid. And he becomes the Tom Brady of the whole league in like 3 years, which makes me the Bill Belichick of the league. We spent 3 years, just had the best time, and he went on and played middle school ball at his school and was doing really well. And then we went to what I thought was kind of a routine. Zach, there's no routine services over at Passion City Church. From your time over there, we thought it was kind of a routine Christmas service. And the pastor, Louis makes a call at the end, and Chris walks down the aisle and accepts Christ to be a Savior, and that's his salvation story. And that's really kind of the pivot point. Somebody mentioned earlier, hey, I thought it was this, and now it turned out to be that. And just a number of things happened subsequent to that. One, he quit football. He was, like I say, he was great. I mean, he was really just a really good football player, and just decided he wanted to put that energy into other things. And I really admired that. And I didn't fully understand it at the time. I kind of, you know how dads are. Really was enjoying watching him play. And but I saw some real fruit come out of that. And one thing kind of led to another that puts him on a path. There's a principle of the path that just, that led him to Biola, as he mentioned, through the association that Alex had there and following her. And then that led to Talbot Seminary, which led to Passion City Church, which, thanks Zach, he got a full-time job from his residency, thanks to this man right here, so we appreciate that. I mean, just a year ago, this guy was unemployed, had no girlfriend, and now... So here we are tonight. And so Chris and so, we go through these stories, and another thing about Chris, and Tony kind of alluded to it, and he gets this honestly from his Uncle Keith, they'll go to a sporting event and just refuse to leave until the end. I mean, Georgia, it could be 7 touchdowns up, and it's pouring down rain, and Chris is like, but the 5-star 4th stringer might get in, and I can see it, So it's just aggravated us over the years. So that's where this past spring, I was watching a Braves game one night, and the Braves were making one of their patented last 9th inning comebacks. And so I knew Savannah and Chris were at the game, so I texted Chris just to share in the moment, and no reply. And I was like, interesting, I guess he was not looking at his phone or whatever. Well, the game ends, and like 5 minutes later, he walks in the house. Now, we all just went to the game Wednesday night. It takes about an hour to get home from the Battery, from a Braves game. And so, I was a little puzzled. He walked in, and I said, what happened? At the game, he goes, well, Savannah and I decided that we were going to leave early tonight. So I was like, all right, I like the way this is going. So, Savannah, you've just meant so much to our family. I remember, even, I'll just digress for a second, even when Chris is being deceptive, he's actually doing good. He mentioned last football season that he was taking some Passion City residents to the football game. And so I was, in my mind's eye, I was picturing, a couple like little nerdy guys that didn't have any friends, just moved to Atlanta, and I was thinking, this is pretty altruistic, Chris is sharing his tickets with some guys that he doesn't really know that well. Well, it wasn't residents, it was singular. So resident was Savannah. And so there was nothing altruistic about it. It was a date. And somebody mentioned Tony did a good job of kind of summarizing Chris's golf game. I figured if Savannah watches him play golf and goes to a Georgia football game with him and the relationship survives, we're good. And so, hey, we got that out of the way early and it happened. So we just couldn't be more thrilled that you guys are together. So much has been said about just the intentionality in which you guys have gone about your lives and how well that you're doing. The way life works is that, despite all the intentionality and all the planning, what God has in store for you guys will probably be something that none of us could not even you guys, could imagine. And we just can't wait to see what that is. So I hope in conclusion here for tonight that you guys will join me in toasting and casting a blessing upon Chris and Savannah. All right, well, I think we're welcome to hang out in here for a while. I understand that there is entertainment on the premises. If anybody wants to do anything, Glenn and I and the Smiths will be around. We'd love to just visit with folks for a minute before people take off. Any messages about the wedding, any information?